sorry. I've been having a bit of difficulties, technical difficulties over here trying to set up everything. But we're here. Bit of 5 minutes delay, so sorry for that again. But let's go. So today we are doing another creativity session, okay? And so a quick catch up. What we're gonna do is an exercise where we're gonna work based on creative constraint. This means that with a set of parameters and words, we're gonna create like a box where we funnel all our ideas through that. So you know the saying, think outside the box. We're gonna do the complete opposite. So we concentrate on tackling that creative anxiety that we get when we stare at a blank page, or when we are starting to get negative thoughts and bad feelings and stuff like that. So I will talk you through the session. It's going to be an hour. I will talk you through each time we create a box and to make sure we're going to get something done. Okay, so today is about focusing on finishing our stuff, our ideas, rather than improving our skills or getting perfect at them. Okay, so we're going to create first one box. We work through 10 minutes and to create something. I'm using drawing, okay? I'm going to be drawing and I have some extra materials like some pencils and some markers. But you can use whatever you want, whatever materials you are more comfortable with, okay? So yeah, as I was saying, we're going to create first a box. We're going to have 10 minutes to create something. And after that, we're going to repeat the exercise again, okay? So I won't show you the timer because I don't want you to focus on the time running out. But I just want to put a little bit of extra pressure so your brain gets starting and it thinks I have to finish this task as soon as I can, okay? And I'm going to be using my phone to generate random words, and I will write them on the chat so you can look at them all the time. I recommend that you have your phone to look at the meaning of the words because as it's completely random, we might see some words that we don't know the meaning of. So I would recommend your phone or a dictionary next to you, okay? So we are gonna look first for the words. Let's go. So the first one is confess, and the second one is gonna be statement. So they're pretty close together, which is good because it's a bit easier when they're kind of related. So we have statement and confess, okay? So we have the first box is gonna be statement and confess. I leave it there in the chat. And now I'm gonna set up the 10 minutes starting now. Okay, good. So how it works. So we have statement and confess. So there are a few ways to kind of start going on with drawing. The first one that I'm gonna use is let these words inspire me. So what comes up to me when I hear statement and confess together? Well, to me it comes up a jury or a trial, for example, someone passing through a trial. So we can create a scenario or, for example, just a lawyer or a complete scenario depending on what is coming up to you. To me, it comes someone literally onto the stand. So I will start doing. So I'm going to base everything that I make on my chi monsters, which are basically my main character, okay? But you can do it on your main characters if you want to. You can kind of develop them a little bit more, see how they will behave in different scenarios and stuff like that. Or you can go completely random because maybe your idea doesn't involve characters or people or whatever. It's more like an abstract idea. So if you have a more abstract idea, don't worry, that's completely fine. You do you, okay? Just beware that it might be a bit more difficult to kind of focus onto something. Okay, so let's see. And you can also use a whole page or a corner, or you can start in the middle or on a side. Doesn't really matter where you start, okay? Because you're not going to be focusing on perspectives or on space of the concept, but more on just writing or putting down the idea that comes up to your mind, okay? Because again, we're focusing on getting things done, not on getting things perfect. So I'm going to start by, for example, I don't care who the judge is, but I'm going to start just making a stand like this. So this is kind of like movie style, let's say, because it's what it comes to my mind. Obviously, accuracy is not the point, so don't worry about it. And if you started to have some anxiety thoughts like I'm having, because I can feel like I'm getting nervous and my chest is kind of like asking for some air, take a big breath and release it. Because this is just you creating here, it's your safe space, okay? No one is gonna judge you, no one is gonna tell you anything at all. So you can breathe, let it out, and just focus on what you want to create right now, on the idea that popped up on your head when we got the word statement and confess. Whew. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my two monster here in a little corner, like this, and I'm gonna do like a very quick sketch. You can see that this is the head and it's massive compared to the rest, but that's fine because I'm not gonna erase it because maybe it will take me too long to find the actual measures, so it's proportionate. I'm just gonna go with it and keep making first small details so I get used to it and I kind of get into the fact that I'm drawing and that I have a timer, and to kind of control that anxiety kicking in, which it is. I can assure you that it is. And I'm just gonna make like a simple detail there and maybe here. So what I know is important for me is that I'm doing my chi monster, like if it's giving the statement and is worried or kind of nervous because I don't know, maybe he's in a difficult situation, maybe the bad guy is there and he's scared that's gonna see him, or maybe he's actually lying to get out of trouble. So it's gonna be like an awkward kind of phase going on, which I don't really know how to do. So my main thing is sculpting. So it might be a bit tricky for me to be creating, to be drawing. But I do it also to show you that it's not, I don't do this out of comfort. Okay. I'm doing this because I also want to get the same purpose as you. That is to get those ideas flowing and not to kind of drown in when I'm staring at the blank page, or if you've been a while without creating because of stress, anxiety, or there's loads of things going on right now, just take this time to relax, and not to relax, but to just let everything go. Okay, this is your creating moment, and you need to create, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be perfect. It needs to be finished. Okay. And then so I made like eyebrows, like a bit conspicuous, word of the day. And um mm, like a bad mouth, and I'm gonna put a drop here like So I don't normally draw faces. Well, my chibi monsters normally, all of them have their eyes closed. It's kind of their thing. So I don't need to worry about that, but the expression, I'm just getting it with this and this. Just little details over there. And maybe I can put another chibi monster here that is gonna be the lawyer. So I'm gonna suit it up that, and it's gonna be talking, making its point, and it's gonna have the hand on the back, very casual style, very movie style, to be honest, because I'm just trying to get hold of my memories. So I'm not trying. I mean, this is not really accurate. I don't think they go on trial like super chill with your arms on the back and thinking, oh yeah, this is fine. So we just kind of go with it too. But it's getting the idea on the paper for then later realize what we actually did. Actually, so see, now I made a mistake, but it's a mistake relating the idea. It's not a mistake relating perspective, technique, or any of the other things. Is to get the idea. Basically, I was going to draw the little pouch white area that my two monsters have here, but I remember that if I do that, I cannot draw a suit, a lawyer suit. So I erased it in order to draw the suit on top. If you didn't want to be honest, you couldn't, you don't really need to erase anything. Maybe you can just draw on top or do whatever on top, depending on the materials that you're using, and keep going on, which is completely valid too. Okay, I'm just drawing the jacket there, the little pocket, and yeah, and maybe this one is gonna be shouting, confess, because why not? So you can see that you can use literally the word, you can include it in what you're creating, or it can be just more there, like in the background, like it's inspiring you to create something, but it's not like you have to add it literally in the picture. Okay, I'm doing it because I'm just kind of going with the flow. This is what my brain is telling me to do. It's not me being, oh, this will look cool. And that was super fast, guys. Time is up. That went so fast. And it's not finished, but the idea is there, okay? The face is not finished, but I kind of got to the point where I know the lawyer is talking. I have the guilty G monster, let's say. Maybe it's guilty, maybe it's not. I have it here, and I have the word confessed on there. And so everything correlates, and I have the idea there. I know what was going on in my mind, so I don't need to add more detail. I'm not going to spend more time on finishing like the hair or the dots that normally my chibi monsters have on the suits or stuff like that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like this, and we're going to move on to the next one, because it's not about getting perfect stuff. It's about putting down onto paper the idea. It's about finishing the idea on paper. Okay, sometimes we think, yeah, but if I don't finish what I started, how can I know that is good? I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're not good or not, we're just here to get rid of those negative thoughts that kind of always, or most of the time, prevents us from starting a project or even from finishing it. In this case, we didn't finish because the creative anxiety. We didn't because the timer was up, and we need to go to another one. So let's look. New word, flattery. Okay. And announce. So we have the second box, which is, oops, flattery. Trying to write it on my hands. There we go. And announcement. No, announce, not announcement, sorry. There we go. And I'm just gonna make sure what flattery means, because I do know what it is, but I just want to make sure that I get the right definition. Okay, so it is what I had in mind. So the act and practice of flattering, meaning giving compliments and stuff. And now I'm ready to go. So let's put the timer on. And timer is up. So the other way that we can kind of start getting our brain thinking about something is we can look for a memory rather than getting the words inspire us. We can look for a memory related to these words. So flattery and announcements. If you have something, for example, a memory where you were giving a nice compliment to your friends, or the opposite way, or I don't know, there was being an announcement in class about something that you did good, or family announcement kind of thing. So maybe you have someone that is announcing something, and it's a flattering comment. Okay. So if I try to pull out from a memory, I don't know why I'm having butterflies coming to my head. Maybe because they flap their wings, and flattery kind of reminds me of flap somehow. That's another way you can start the process of thinking. You can see, as before, where those words give you. Mind is a tricky thing, so don't try to avoid a different train of thoughts, okay? Because it doesn't make any sense that flattery goes with flapping and the flapping goes with butterflies, but my brain made that connection, so I'm actually gonna follow it because it's giving me already a path to follow and that I can see where it takes me. So if it reminds me of a butterfly, and as I want to focus all this exercise on my chibi monsters, maybe I can make a chibi monsters with butterfly wings. And now that I'm saying that, it popped into my head. I don't know if you have seen the movie Bugs, but the very, very funny caterpillar that wants to be a beautiful butterfly. So maybe it can be like a parody to that. So let's see, we have our Chi Monster head over here. And I remember that it had two little eyes. I don't know if it, or antennas or something like that over there. So I'm gonna put two little antennas and over there. And then there is a scene in the movie where it gets like two little wings in the back at the very end, like flopping around. So I'm gonna do that, but they're gonna be props for my Chi Monster. So rather than having itself the wings, it's wearing a suit and it's kind of two props of wings, kind of like flopping around. So again, for you, this it should be easier because you don't need to explain these thoughts to anyone. So don't worry if it makes even less sense than what I'm telling you. Go for it, okay? Don't worry at all. I'm gonna make the little tummy there, and some feet. Oops. There we go. And then it's gonna have little butterfly wings over there. It's more like if it's a pie or something like that. So we're just gonna actually no. So to do this better, I'm gonna draw the pies and then quickly I'm just gonna draw like the butterfly pattern. So we're gonna do one over there. Oops. This and one on the other side. See that I'm even going out of the page, but don't worry that much about it, okay? Because now I get the idea. No, I know what's actually happening, and it's kind of flopping around. So I'm making this sign, these little marks. This, and maybe I want to make like the shadow there, so I know that it's on the floor somehow, and it's actually, well, not levitating, but something like this. And then just to make some expression. But this one is kind of having a very good time. Yeah. There we go. Well, it looks like it's angry, but I'm going to leave it like that. Maybe it's just making a lot of effort to fly. And so this is the idea, but you cannot really see from the drawing what I was actually thinking of. So you can get some pencils, some markers, whatever you have around, and draw it. So for example, I'm going to paint it green as the caterpillar from the movie, like that. And then to make the design of the butterfly, I'm kind of making it a bit like that. I mean, it doesn't look like a butterfly necessarily, but it's that kind of pattern that butterflies have, or even ladybugs, maybe. So we kind of get the idea. Okay, those are supposed to be butterfly wings kind of thing. And a bit of orange on one side. Then on the other one. Again, it's completely unperfect. But that's the point, okay? I'm just getting the idea on. And because it's my Chi monster, I even forgot some details like these things, which they're not crucial, but is for me to remember later that the idea of my Chi monster is still there. Just because I want to make inspired on the caterpillar from bugs, it doesn't mean that I cannot do my Chi monster style. Okay? And I don't know, today I feel like my characters should be talking. So following on that flattery announce, I'm gonna say, I'm a beautiful butterfly, like the caterpillar was saying on the movie. Butterfly. And maybe look at me. So it's announcing, and then the flattery on the other side. Look at me. And there you go. See? So you keep going. If you finish your idea even before me, don't stop there and wait for the 10 minutes to be up. Try to come up with another idea. So don't think that just because you did one, your brain is just going to stop. The purpose of creating those boxes is so we limit our first options, but then as time passes by, we can add more things into that box so it becomes more specific and our thoughts become, they funnel even more into one direction. So it should be kind of easier to create something new. So if we, for example, following to this, maybe you can start something completely new, or you can keep adding onto it. So maybe I want to actually draw a butterfly that is looking at it, and it's another little G monster there, and time's up. Okay, time is going up quickly, super fast. So I'm not finishing this because my main idea was this one. This was just like an addition to it. So I don't need to forget about it. I mean, I kind of did this, which probably later on you can go back to it, or I can go back to it and finish it. But if not, it's completely fine. I'm gonna drink a little bit because. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, as my main idea is already done, I don't need to actually keep going on this thing because this was actually for me to show you how the exercise will keep going if you didn't finish yet. So don't worry about it. I will say leave it for later because you can always come back to it. Or maybe later you can kind of match this with the next box that we're going to create. So you kind of intertwine everything together. Because maybe right now you don't see it, but maybe there is a way that with the next boxes you can link this with the one with the drawing before, or with whatever you created before, and you kind of start making a bigger box all together. That is, your brain automatically is obviously gonna want to follow the same path, so at some point it's gonna intertwine everything together most of the times. So don't worry if that happens. Let it go because it's completely normal and it's completely natural that your brain does that. And you never know what actually can bring you. Sometimes it brings you very bizarre combinations, but they're very cool. So go for it, okay? We have the next words that are mother and wind. So our third box is mother, oops, and wind. Left it there on the chat, so you don't need to remember them. And timer is on. So we have mother and wind. This is super poetic. At least for me, it kind of feels like. And I kind of feel like I want to just do like Mother Nature with, or like the wind goddess or something like that. And I know it's just 10 minutes, but maybe I can do a quick sketch. So if we turn the page, because I feel like this one has to be big, has to be important. We can do, let's see. So wind, obviously very floaty things, maybe some feathers around, some clouds and stuff. Maybe he's wearing kind of like a very floaty tiara kind of thing. So maybe we can start So this is a complete different style. If you want to do that, maybe you can always try something different, because as we said, this is your safe space for creating. So it's not like you need to do something perfect. We are just finishing and making ideas. I'm actually going, even if I'm already uncomfortable drawing my dividendos, drawing something that is completely out of that line is going to be even more stressful for me, especially because you're actually seeing what I'm drawing. So that makes me even more nervous, actually. But we'll see how this goes. So we have this first shape. We said a very floaty tiara, which I feel like it should be like, well, if I was in my head, it's like a silvery kind of floaty thing with, I don't know, something here, but I don't know what it is yet. So I'm going to leave it like that. So if you're doing like a complicated thing or design or something like that, don't focus too much on the small details, because then 10 minutes is obviously not enough to do something. So try to again focus on putting the idea down. So obviously this is not the tiara that I was saying, but is kind of similar, kind of that wavy kind of pattern with something in the middle. So I'm gonna leave it like this, and because the idea is there, and maybe another time I can make it more, I mean, more perfect, not because this is completely trash, but I can actually define it and refine it and make it better on another time. So we said floaty hair, which I kind of feel like this is going in all directions like that. Yeah, like this. And obviously we need the rest. So to me, wind is leaves and feathers and like curly stuff kind of thing. So maybe we can start with a fur, kind of feathery thing. And it's gonna have the arms open, like the air is lifting her up. And yeah, like that. Again, proportions are completely off, but it's not the main point. Not even the hair is even well done. Nothing is well done here today. And don't worry about it, because that's the point. And we're gonna make like some feathers. So I've been watching some anime lately, so feathers are gonna kind of be inspired on what I've seen these days, which is kind of like, I mean, it's not this, obviously they do a better job, but way much better job than me. But this is kind of like what it's gonna be. And then there should be some shadows, some like if they were clouds around and stuff. I'm not adding coloring to this one because it's actually a very complicated idea. It didn't make it easy for me at all this time. So I'm just kind of making like swizzling stuff, like fog things going around. Don't know, to be honest. And so we have one goes that way. This should be like a chain of feathers kind of thing. And then maybe it's gonna be like a lot of air, like air rings going around it. A bit more like if it was an actual transformation, you know. I mean, I'm not transforming anything. She is already wind. But just kind of like an idea of what it should be. And it has also these kind of rings around the arms that make her go floaty, and around the neck. So she's kind of being surrounded and wrapped on air. This is so abstract. I mean, I'm so out of my style. But you can see what the point is. I'm getting an idea done. I mean, this is literally the first thing that popped into my head, and I'm trying to put it down onto paper. I'm fighting again those thoughts that, believe me, I'm really struggling with, that this says I shouldn't have gone with this because this is way too overcomplicated for the time that we have, and I'm not actually gonna get anything done, which is bugging me really a lot, because on the other ones you can see that we had the idea, we made it, and it was more clear than this. This is kind of abstract. I mean, you can kind of see where it goes, but I don't think maybe you think of wind, but maybe not mother, because it's a very abstract silhouette. So I don't really know where this is going. Let's just try to make, maybe if I make more feathers like that, and they're all intertwined, so it's like go on one side and then on the other one. Not really. So bad. And okay, we're gonna do little feathers that right now they're not looking very feathery. Okay, I think I did a very massive mistake with this, but I'm gonna keep going. So the point is, when we realize that we made a mistake, in a normal situation, we will erase it, try to make our mind blank again, and start new. But in this point, I still want to finish this idea. The fact that right now I don't like it, and that right now I don't see the value in it, and maybe I'm seeing too many mistakes, doesn't actually invalidate the idea completely, and that I have to erase it. It just needs, I can revisit it on another time, that maybe I can actually find a solution for it. Because being creative is not only creating stuff, is the abilities that we have to solve a problem, actually. So we created something and we have the problem that I really hate this thing that I made here in the middle, completely hideous for me. And obviously these things, they just look like arrows. So time's up, guys. But yeah, so following on that, I made a few mistakes here. So now I have a problem that I need to solve. And my creativity will kick in at some point. In these 10 minutes, I just, okay, they're finished. It's going to stay like this. I do have the idea. I know what I was trying to do, at least. But I'm not going to keep going on it. I'm going to let my brain, like, kind of completely forget about it for a few minutes more. And another day, later on, after this exercise finished, you can revisit it and try to fix that problem. That moment is where you actually gain more skills about creativity, because you created a problem, and rather than getting stuck by it, you're revisiting and you're gonna fix it later. You can completely change it. You can erase whatever you did, but keep on with that idea and see how you can fix the problem that you created something for that idea that doesn't match. So you need to create something again that is a better fit for that box. Okay. So I actually only hate this thing here in the middle. The idea itself, I do like it, so I probably revisit it whenever, another time. But it's time for another box, and let's see, we have whale, not whales, whale. I don't know how to say that. I will write on the chat as a verb, and then we have as a noun expert. So the fourth box is whale. I don't know how to say that. And expert as a noun. Let's check what whale means, because I really never heard of that before. If my dictionary wants to, because I wrote it. Whale. Whale. Come on. Why doesn't my dictionary want to work? Yes. No. Doesn't want to work. Let's go for another dictionary. And whale meaning a prolonged high-pitched cry of pain, grief, or anger. Okay. So cry of pain, very high-pitched. And let's put the timer up. Okay, so we have a cry of pain, a high-pitched cry of pain, whale, and an expert. The first thing that comes up to my mind are actually babies, because there are no better experts than babies on crying. So let's go. Okay, a baby, why do baby cries? They normally cry because of food, or obviously pain too. But in my brain is more associated with the fact that they want to eat. So maybe I can draw TV monster again. So I'm going back to my idea, to my character. So I'm gonna draw a crying TV monster with a bottle on the floor, like it fell, and it's obviously sitting because babies don't really know how to stand properly. So it's gonna be sitting with the tail, the suit, that tummy, the other arm on the other side, a bit unproportionate, but it's fine. Try to push away those negative thoughts if you are having some about not getting things perfectly done. So you want to push them away and focus on the fact that we're just getting the ideas on papers. We are not actually going for perfection, okay? We're getting things done, not going for perfection. Maybe some little details over there. So it kind of makes me focus more on this kind of scenario. And there, and he's crying, so there, and massive tears. I'm gonna exaggerate it a little bit more because it's so small that maybe it's not. Now it looks like it's spilling veins out of the eyes when it's fine. Um, okay, and then maybe so it dropped something or something dropped net, or and I said the bottle before, so maybe I want to keep on going with that. Kind of don't know where the idea, like I don't know why the bottle fell, but it's fine because sometimes we can start just with a line, kind of the um, from the line something comes up to our mind and we can actually visualize something. So just follow the lines. You feel like uh, you still took a bit to start. Don't worry. I know 10 minutes, they have been going up quite fast today, but there's actually a lot of time. So you don't need to be rushing into it. You actually have plenty of time to think what you want to do next. So the bottle open in my case, and all the milk is spilled, and we have the cup here on the side, maybe this. And yeah, okay. So this is my idea, and I was pretty fast compared to the other one that I did just a second ago. So I'm gonna start thinking of another one because maybe there's another solution to this problem, no? So these boxes that we created they create a problem for us to solve, which is we need to create something with those words. So maybe there is another way that I can actually solve this problem. Um, which can be uh, an expert of a high-pitched cry of pain. High-pitched cry of pain. Huh. Bit stuck on this one. So let's see. Let's record to the ideas the techniques that I was saying before. I did what it inspired me. So maybe I can pull out a memory from it. So I had this sculpture that I made a few years back of Chihuahua with a crayon stuck up on the nose, which obviously Chihuahua is like the whaling expert. I think that's obvious. We can all agree. So it kind of relates those two. And maybe this time it can be a baby Chihuahua. Let's try to draw a baby Chihuahua. This is gonna be complicated. I never drawn a Chihuahua before. So he was crying. And the little nose was here and he had the crayon stuck. The nose, which I'm actually gonna paint so I understand it. Okay. And a little nose. And obviously is crying too. Like the baby chibi monster. And why does it look so happy? No. Okay, let's do some. Oh, wait, this is so weird, guys. He's looking so happy. And it doesn't look very much like Chihuahua, but I'm just gonna go with it. And maybe this little guy was trying to paint, but got angry somehow, or because the crayon got stuck on the nose. It threw some crayons to the G monster. I don't know. So here I'm kind of going. I know it's like very random thoughts, but sometimes random thoughts are actually better than having a very specific and realistic train of thoughts. So maybe there were more crayons here. So I'm just gonna draw some pencils around. Very random ones. Oops. That. And a blue one here. This. And then because this one was crying, something happened here. A tragedy. And the little baby Chihuahua that is happily crying threw away some random crayons to the chibi monster, and it spilled the bottle. It dropped the bottle, and the bottle opened and it spilled, so everyone is crying, and we have a very, very sad story over here. So what you want to do, I know when we're creating something, especially if it's like sculpting or an illustration, something that is quite static, let's say, and it's not dynamic, you need to, your train of thought cannot be, oh, I'm gonna draw, I don't know if you have, like before that we have mother and wind, I'm gonna draw a mom and a leaf floating around. No, you need to kind of create a story between them two, so it actually makes you create something. And time's up, guys. Cool. So that was the last box for today. I'm sorry I was a bit late when we started, but following that on what I was saying before, when you can use obviously this exercise on your own. You don't need to have me, but remember that first of all, you're here, you're doing that exercise to get something on paper done. I'm gonna bring out, well, this little Chihuahua is actually proof enough that we're not here to make something perfect. We're here to put the idea down onto paper, and you don't know what that idea is at the beginning. So try to make a story as more complicated as you can. Okay, so the more complicated it's gonna be, the more elements you add inside that box, the easier it's gonna be to actually solve the problem of creating something. Because they're gonna be, the funnel is gonna get thinner and thinner and thinner and tighter and tighter and tighter for you to actually get to a point where, okay, there's only one solution that is possible in order to create this. Okay, it's not like they give you the words, I give you the words, and you have to have the ultimate solution for it. No, this is a process that it evolves with time, and the more you practice, the faster your brain is going to make connections between the words and kind of, or your characters, or a new scenario, or something that leads you towards creating something without having to kind of, on the back of your head, that creative anxiety is saying, oh, why did you start doing this? Who cares? Just keep going on. The point is to get something done. And whenever it's done, leave it there, let it rest. And later on, you can revisit it and then fix this problem. So now, okay, I got this idea. Now, my problem is not what do I draw? My problem is to make this better. And that's a way much easier problem to solve than if we are staring at a blank page and what do I want to draw? Okay? So I hope you like this session, and we have the next session next Friday, okay? Don't forget to follow me on social media so you can get a little reminder before we start. And you can actually also subscribe to the newsletter that is on the website, that is on the link below in the description. And I hope to see you on the next streaming. Bye.